Hi, welcome back to the second part of this series where we make the dividend payout sheet. Firstly, I'd like to cover three things I have forgotten to mention in the first video, which I think are convenient. They're part of this page, the overview page, so I'll dive on right in. First thing is I forgot to give it a name. So you can give this any name you want, of course. You can simply select the nameless spreadsheet in the top here and give it a name, and it will have a name. Secondly, you select the ticker, which is A4, and go all the way to the right and select the latest ticker you have, which is just above the total. So that should be X something. For me, it's X22 here. And then go over to data and then select create a filter. What this will allow us to do is now we can just take any of the columns and filter them A through Z or Z through A. So if you would like to know which has the most dividend or which is the highest value or something, you can simply filter by that. I mean, sort it by that, of course, sorry. Well, you can also filter here, but anyway, the third thing is for all the people who thought, well, I might want to buy some extra stocks and have left some room here below the ticker. As you can see, I created another row to showcase this. The issue you might, well, it's not an issue, the thing you might have is you dragged the code all the way down, and because you don't have a ticker there, it says not available here. A solution to that is, for example, look, I will enter Activision here, and these fields will fill automatically. How is this done? Simply by saying, well, if IsBlank A22, which is this cell, so if the ticker field is blank, then make this cell empty. If that ticker field is not empty, then do whatever code is in the field. Same for this price. I'll put this in the link of the description for all of you who left room and would like to implement this into their sheet. Now let's dive right back into the original video and continue where we left off yesterday. Let's continue on and tackle this side. Firstly, very easy to do is, of course, this one, the total invested. We're just going to sum F5 through F21. Again, you might have more stocks, you might have less stocks, and I'm going to center this. Might as well center them all at the same time. And there we have our total invested. So my portfolio should be $3,350 invested. Now for the fun part for me at least. This might be the difficult parts for you. Let's see. We're going to get this from Google Finance. So instead of filling out British Tobacco Company and blah, 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 and doing that for each and every one of them, we're going to get this dynamically. I'm going to make this a bit wider. For this, Google Sheets has the function Google Finance. So, well, what do we want to get from Google Finance? We want to get the name. So we're going to select A5. First, to give it the ticker that we want to know the information about. And then we're going to tell it what we want to know about it. You could, if you did this in your own language and you wrote there name or nom or Name in Deutsch, then by all means write name here. But I did it in English, so I can just select this and then close the bracket. And what we also want to do is put a $sign before the A5. And we want to put a $sign between the B and the 4 here. Now it will be loading and it says British American Tobacco PLC. Now we can drag this down because of the $signs. And it will have filled in automatically. So I'm going to just adjust this. So I have them all nice within the column. So this is already starting to get a bit cool. Next thing, we're going to do the industry. industry will be, consumer electronics or something. This will be a bit more. This is what I had to work on myself. As previously stated in the intro, I didn't think of all of this. It's not my original idea. I saw several videos on making a portfolio or tracker like this, and I thought, well, I can combine them and improve on it, because this feature in the original video is not working anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to market watch, and we're going to get the information from there. So if we go to market watch and we go to profile, we see here the sector is technology, and this is what we will be going to grab. So how are we going to do that? We're going to use the is sign and then the equal sign, and import XML. And for this part, you might just copy paste this from the description of my video. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this entire URL. Be sure it's between double quotes. Next thing we want to do is remove Microsoft here. I just took Microsoft as a example on the page. Two double quotes again. Double ampersand, Shift 7, at least on my keyboard, Shift 7. And then we're going to say $A $5, so A5, and that is where it's going to find this information. So it will find this for British Tobacco on this URL with BTI here, HDV for that one, etc., etc. So we're going to pass it another argument. That is going to be, well, where on the page are you going to be able to find this? And this one is going to be maybe Chinese for you, but if you want to know how to get this information yourself, just ask me in the comment section and I will be happy to explain it to you. But most people will just want to copy paste this and not have their time wasted on an explanation on how this works. So we're going to say /HTML/body/div with a V, bracket 3, 3 within brackets, then that another /div 6 between brackets, another /div1, and / div1, and let's see, that is 1, 2, then another div, then ul, and then li, a second, so also a 2 between the and span. This should be the code. Close it up. Now it will be consumer goods. Well, perfect. And then we'll drag this down. I did something wrong. See, it's not changing this one. So that's the part we want to be changing. So we want A to be absolute, but 5 not. So perhaps if we do $A5 instead of $A $5, maybe then, yeah, this is perfect. We might say, well, it says non-available on 3 of them. I'll quickly explain. If we search for HDV here, might as well just go here, HDV. This is an ETF, so this doesn't have a sector. Just like VTI, it doesn't have a sector. So what I do for these ones is I just write ETF here. The iShares Score High Dividend ETF is never going to change its industry. Again, it's not a stock, it's a tracker, so it doesn't have an industry. Now you might have a what do you call it? A tracker that tracks a specific industry. In that case, you might want to write what industry that is. But that's all up to you. Next is Unilever. From origin, a Dutch company. It's very big in consumer goods. The problem here is MarketWatch doesn't know this as ULVR, as that is how my my broker knows it, and it gets a different price. I think my broker is mixing up 2 of them, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get UL instead. And because this is the right one, if I'm not mistaken. You might not need this information at all, but so I'm just gonna take out this entire part here, and I'm just gonna write UL there, and now it says consumer goods. So next, adjust this column if it's not wide enough, then you got this as well. Perfect. Now we're going to get the price. And the price we're going to get from Google Finance again. So we say Google Finance. And then, well, what do we want to know from A5? What do we want to know from A5? Again, if you put the table headers, if you wrote here something else, maybe if you're Dutch, you wrote prijs. If you're from somewhere else, you might have written it in your own language. If so, write price like this. If you didn't and just used English like me, you can do this. And then close that up. If I'm not mistaken, and again, I'm not a wizard in Excel. I think it's like this. So $A5, $4. And then that's just to drag it out. Let's see if it worked. So that is A6, that's correct, and D4. 4 doesn't change at all. Yeah, this is perfect. Now let's go to formatting and make that the right currency. Perfect. So now we have this. Well, the value is quite easy. What we're going to do, well, what is the value of this stock in your portfolio? It is the amount of shares you have times the price. And then it's going to say fill this out automatically for you. I'm going to trust that that is okay. D6 times D7. Yeah, this seems all fine. Except, well, don't pay attention to Unilever. There's something very wrong with those tickers and how my broker, this information obviously isn't right. I can't have $15,000 worth of that, so don't pay attention to that at all. I need to figure that out with my broker. They are giving me some wrong information on that one. I assume maybe I'm just being very stupid, but you know, I'm a software developer. I'm not a financial advisor or an investment person at all. I just like doing technical stuff. For the total of the value, obviously we're going to just take the total. You don't have Unilever like this. I know how I tackled this. Where's Unilever? Okay, so don't pay attention to this. You don't have to do this unless you have a problem like this as well. But the price of the tracker that is on the stock exchange is different. So now it is correct. Now it seems perfect. Okay, so the value also, I'm going to center this. And then we're going to the unrealized profit loss. Well, how do we know what our unrealized profit loss is? We're going to take the value and the invested. So we're going to say G5 minus F5. And it's going to say, well, let's fill this out automatically. And then this is also correct, because if we take the total minus the total, we have the total. And if everything is all right, I'm down $111.42 on my portfolio. I certainly hope you guys are doing better. Then now let's get the yield. That is why we have this page open. This is Finviz. I never heard of this site before in my life until I saw the other video that uses this, but also some of the code that is given, I mean, the formula from that video is also not working anymore, but I fixed it. And let's show you immediately how we're going to get it, because we want to get this dividend percentage here, and we want to get this dividend net amount. And let's dive on in. Doing that. So if you're going to type along, type along. If not, you can just copy paste it from the description of this video. We're going to start with equal sign substitute and then index function, and import HTML this time, which is different from what we previously did. We did import XML there, and we're going to say HTTPS. Oh, I got caps lock on. HTTPS www.finviz.com/quote.ashx?t and that is basically just this part of the URL. You could have just copied that as well, of course. And now what do we want there? We want to have the ticker there. So we're going to say, oh, shoot. $A5. Okay. And then we're going to take the next argument. Then the next argument is going to be, well, what do we want to get from this HTML? We want to get a table. And which table do we want? We want the 10th table on the page. Close this import HTML. Now we're going to take the index, because at this point we have the entire table that we have here, this entire thing. And we just want to get, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10th thing down and the second thing to the right. So we're going to say colon first, because it's the next argument in the index, and then 8, and then 2, close it up. And then also there's going to be asterisks around it, which is, you know, shift 8, the little star. That's why the substitute function is there. I'm going to replace that with empty string. So double quotes, asterisks, double quotes, new parameter, and then just 2 double quotes in a row. And we do double close. And there's a problem. There is a missing bracket. Okay, I missed some bracket. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1 bracket too much. Where is that coming from? I'll just fast forward through time here to fix this. Okay, welcome back. It should be working now. Yes. Okay, so what we have now is equals open substitute, open index, open import HTML. We have the URL, which is here from Finviz all the way up to the ticker, but not including the ticker. And we take $A5, which is our ticker here in the sheet. Next argument is table, next argument is 10. And I'm not sure exactly what is different here from what I had, but this is working. And let's select all of them, let's center them. And we should be able to just drag this down. And we got the stickers here. Well, again, the same thing with Unilever here. You might not be invested in Unilever, so this won't be a problem for you, but I'm just going to take away that and hard code UL there. And now I got it as well. Perfect. Then we're going to do the dividend per share per year. So that is going to come from this one. From this one. So on Microsoft, you should be earning $2.72 per share per year. And then we're going to write that formula as well for it. So it's going to be pretty much the same. We just copy paste the entire thing and only change these parameters here. Because the only thing different is that of 8, this is going to be 7. This should be it. Before I just copied over the code from the yield. Shouldn't have done that because there is a part in there. Just, to fix that issue I had before. So now we can see I have 3,43 here and not 3.43 like we see here. How we did that is we have an additional substitute function, which is going to substitute the point with the comma. So if you're from a region where you think, well, I don't use a comma between the whole and the part, I use a dot, and I need a dot to calculate there, you can use the previous code. If not, you need this extra substitute. So now I'm going to drag this down and it should just stay the same, but commas should be replaced with dots. And again, I have to make this UL. Now let's get to the income, and that will be, now I should be able to calculate with this amount times the amount of shares. And there we go. So let's fill this out automatically. It should be right. Always double check. J5, E5, and the numbers should just go up, and they do. So that's perfect. Now here you might say you want to sum those. That's a possibility, it seems. Take the dollars, and then again, I don't have that in my original portfolio I made before. I'm obviously just making this one for the video. And you might want to center that just to make it look a bit better. I didn't center this one because, and well, I can show you it will, I think it doesn't look nice because not all the things are just as long. This one is very long. So I think it looks better like this. Maybe you think, oh, I want it like this. Just do it how you want, of course. Let's see. I think this part is complete. So now we're going to leave this for now and go to payments and data, because this column is for payments. What I'm going to do is select those, put borders around it, and I still have the thick borders selected. You also have that, you can select it here. And now what we're going to want to do is we want to list here all the industries we're invested in and how much value we have there. And we're going to use that later to make a graph of it or a pie chart. And the thing is, we have those right here. Also, you might as well just say, I'm going to write these out. You know, you don't have to get these from the internet. A company isn't going to change its industry very likely. However, it has been done in the past before. One example is Nokia. I think it's a Finnish company. They started with doing the stuff with wood pulp, and now we know them as manufacturing phones and other electronic devices. So it can happen in the future that something changes its industry. It's not likely, but you could just opt to write this out yourself instead. But what we're going to do is we're going to get all those industries here. And obviously I have two ETFs, for example. We have several from consumer goods, and we want those to be only named once. So we're going to use the unique feature, a function. So we're going to get unique values from overview, exclamation mark, C5 through C21. That is a % sign, not a 5. And again, I've said this a million times, probably might be getting crazy of it. You might have more stocks, you might have less stocks. You might have left some room here to add more stocks in the near future. Simply select everything up to not including the totals. So that you have a once you add a new stock to your portfolio and it is maybe in an industry you hadn't invested in yet, it will be added here automatically. Now for the market value, we want to know, well, how much money do I have in the consumer goods industry? How much money do I have in ETFs, etc.? And for that, we're going to use the SUMIF, not SIMIFs, but SUMIF, because the difference is we can set one condition or we can set several conditions. We only need one condition here. So that is going to be overview, exclamation mark, $sign, C, $5, and then all the way through. So there's a colon, $sign, C, $sign 21, and then semicolon again. Let's just quickly Google this, colon sign. Yeah, this is the colon and the semicolon. Yeah, okay. Not that I'm using the wrong terms here. I was worried about that. So the semicolon, and it's going to be E2, which is the industry right here. And then we're going to say, well, from overview, take $G5, $5, $G, $5, I mean, and a colon, $G, $21, and again, 21 is the last row of tickers for me, of stocks. You might have more, you might have less, adjust accordingly. And something is wrong here. See.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Okay, yeah, I'm apparently very dumb busy here. I scroll down. I wasn't all the way to the top. So now if I put the code there again and I drag this down, now make this $1. You might use accounting. I'm going to use $1 and I'm going to center this. And now I know I have this much in industrial goods. For example, I have $87 worth of stocks in industrial goods, and we should be able to check that because it's only one company here, the Raytheon, and it's $80, $87, and that's enough for me to know I have the correct data here. Then lastly, we're going to make this table here with the months. First thing to do is just write out 1 through 12. So you could just say 1, 2, 3, take them and drag them all the way down to 12. Let's see, I have too much here. Delete those. Center them, and it will become apparent why we do this. Then we're going to take January, February, just as we did before. And this is because now we'll have them in a column format. Oh, that's the Dutch word for May. And before we had them in a row right here. We have them on the 4th row. But when we make a chart, we cannot use a row as a range. We have to use a column. So that's why we do it like this. They aren't going to invent new months anytime soon. They're not going to rearrange the months anytime soon. But if they do, we might have bigger issues than our investment portfolio anyway. Let's go on. We can center all this as well. So this is just hard coded. Just write this out. Then we're going to get the payments. And well, this is actually very easy. How much did we get in January? We already know that actually. It's right here. So we say, not sum, we say overview. And we take $22. And now we should, well, obviously I didn't earn anything in January because my portfolio didn't exist. And again, something is wrong because it didn't. It's right, because we're dragging in a column row and a column direction, and we actually need to just change the letter and not the number. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, that doesn't look nice. Just gonna paste them all here. Now L, after L comes M, after M comes N. N comes O. Let's center this out as well. So now we want to know the cumulative payment because we're going to plot that out on a graph as well. Here I have done some trickery. You might just sum that in in a graph, but I wanted to do the graph to end at the current month. I didn't want it to be a straight line forward, so I did some thinking on how to achieve that. So first we're going to do this current month thing, which is, let's take the equal sign int for integer, and then text open today, open close, and then double quotes with one M for month in between, and then it will result in 8. Why do we do this like this? We get today M, we get the month in that format, just the 8, or the 12 for December, or 1 for January. We do that like that because we're going to compare it to this one. And to do that comparison, it has to be an integer. It has to be a number. The thing is, we get a string, a text format out of this. So that's why we do it like that. Let's just do the edge around this already. And now what we can do is cumulative payment for January. Obviously, it's just going to be what you earn in January. Not take that. And then what we're going to have to do is if, so now we're on the February row, if $L $2, oh, I forgot the equal sign. If L2 is smaller than H3, which is, the current month in a number, then this will be empty, this cell. And if that cell is not empty, it will be J3 plus K2. And we close this up. And so now, if I'm not mistaken, I drag this all the way down. And perfect. So we earned 40 cents here so far. 240 plus 40 is 280. 240 plus 280 is 520, and so forth. And these months are yet to start. So they do not appear here, which will help us make it just a little bit more pretty graph. You can just say, well, F that, I don't need it. I want to just, might as well just be a straight line from whatever month it is you're watching this in. Might be August, might be different. Maybe you're doing this for a previous year. You could also do that, of course, so you have a nice overview of it, and then I can imagine that it doesn't matter to you. Well, we have everything done now in data-wise, so applause to yourself. This is the most difficult part, and the longest part is definitely over. So now we're going to do this breakdown. So you might just make it here, input a diagram on this page, and then copy it over to a different one. I'm just going to do it straight here. So we're going to take a diagram. So add diagram, and I want it to be a donut chart. It's called ring diagram in Dutch, but might be donut chart for you if you're using it in English. And let's just take up, we want to get the breakdown here. So for the labels, we want to use all my tickers. Sorry. Those are on overview A5 through A21 in my case. Again, for the 10 millionth time. You might have more stocks, you might have less stocks. You might have left room open, just select all the room you left for tickers. Maybe you can just, once you have this open, you should be able to go here and just check. And select that. So now we have overview A5 through that. Now this is the range, I think it is called in the English version. But the UI will be the same. You know where to find this if you just look at the page. And where we get this is also from overview. So we say overview. You might have named this different, but, and then again, for how many stocks that we have. This should give us a very nice diagram. Now I'm gonna close this for a second. I'm going to make this big is the page? Am I on 100% view? Nope. View. And I'm gonna drag this all the way out. And first, I'm going to select, be able to select this. There should be some way of clicking this. Ah, yes, there I have it. You should see this tiny gray edge coming up, and then you can drag this a bit closer. No need for the tickers to be that far away, if you ask me. Okay. And okay. So first, I go to edit, I go to diagram style, and I'm going to put a bit light gray background. This is just my my preference. You don't have to do this at all, of course. But if it's dark outside or there's not much light in the room, there is no dark mode in Google Sheets. I don't want everything to be snow white. It will just hurt my eyes too much. So let's see what else we want to do. There should be the option to make this a 3D one as well. But where do we find that? Where do we find? Might want to change those. Ah, right. So we're gonna put a title above it. Portfolio breakdown. I'm gonna put that in bold, and I'm gonna put that in black, and I'm gonna center that right there. Increase the size of it a bit. Now, where am I going to? Find it. How do I make it a 3D? I have it in. That's the thing. You don't select this one. You make it a 3D circle diagram, 3D donut chart. That's. I thought it was an option somewhere else. So now we have this. We know how much value our things are. So if I'm gonna check, my Pepsi stock should be worth 189.19. Pepsi stock is 189.19. So that's perfect. So that's for this one. Now we're going to do the last 4 graphs, which is the industry breakdown, which is also going to be a circle diagram. And now I am going to choose the non-3D one. If you think I'd rather have this diagram for it or that diagram, be my guest, of course. That's all up to you. But this is how I liked it. The label here, we're going to select label. And for the label, we're going to say payments and data exclamation mark E2 through E10. But, does that brackets or something? Payments and data. I was on the wrong sheet. That's why. So we want the industries. This one. So it did need the apostrophes around it, or whatever they are called. And now we just not this one. This one we want to select this. And now we have this as well. Again, I'm going to take the background color to the same gray, and I'm going to give it a title here on diagram and as titles. Axes titles, is that in English? Probably. And so this will be industry breakdown. Make it bold. I'm going to make it black. I'm going to put it in the center. And if I'm not mistaken, I should have 1031 in electronics, consumer goods, I mean, and that's correct. So that's that. Next, we're going to do the dividend breakdown. So this will be another chart, diagram chart. I don't know what it is in English. This will be a bar chart. So this is the right one already. This one right here. Then for the x-axis, x, which is from left to right, we're going to say, now I know we need this overview, and exclamation mark A5 to A21, which is all my tickers. What is wrong about this? Let's select it then. So this. And then for the range, we're going to say X. So we want to, from the X column, which is the totals here, we want to know, well, how much did we get from those stocks? So if I'm going to check the Altria group, which is this one, I think should have paid me $2.80 so far. So Altria here, and that's $2.80. Don't ask me why the ticker is MO for Altria Group when there is not even an M in that entire name. But it is correct. Then I'm going to set the background color. I'm going to set the title. It will be dividend breakdown. And it will be bold. It will be centered, and it will be black. And then for the third diagram, we're going to do a line chart. And that is going to be, let's see, line. I prefer this area chart, I think it is in English. And what we're going to do for the axes here is get payments and data. Payments and data. And we take I2, this one. And this is why we made this column, because we cannot select from left to right a range here. We can only select from top to bottom in a column direction. Take that. And then from payments and data, we take the J as well, the J column. J column is this one, which is the payments we got. Because we already had this data here, but as I mentioned before, you can't do it like that. Diagram style, light gray background. Again, I've said it a million times, do this however you please. Dividend per month. I'm gonna make it bold just for consistency. And like that. Now we have this. And we'll resize them later. And now for the one I am personally interested in most, my portfolio, to have a view on, again, to do a area chart here. And this is going to be the total dividend we earned throughout the year cumulatively. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but we're going to base it on this table here. I mean the column. So then we're going to take the axes from payments and data I column, which is this again. Then we're going to take this one here. So now we have this like this. And I prefer to see it like this. I'm going to make it a bit more wide. Close this out. No, I'm not going to close this out yet. I'm going to do the background color. And I'm going to do a dividend, total dividend earned. And now I'm going to close this out. Oh, nope, I'm not going to close it out yet. Got to make it bold, centered, and black. Now you can resize this to however you like. Maybe you like to be more zoomed in your browser, maybe you do not. Gonna make them a bit bigger. I want the entire screen to be filled. I look at this. Okay, make it wide enough. Just a bit too wide, I think, now. In the bottom by the edge of the screen. We'll snap there. There, and then drag this one down because there's a little bit of white space under it. Oh. And there you've done it. Congratulations, round of applause to yourselves. You have a very nice overview of your portfolio. You have a nice breakdown of the stocks you're invested in and how much they are a proportion of your portfolio. You have a nice set of graphs, and here you have the things to enter. If you like this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment, whether you like the video, whether you are going to use it. If you have suggestions for, like, I want to see this, you made your own portfolio tracker with this, and you'd like to, well, maybe have a graph of something I did not think of. As said before, I'm not a financial guy, so maybe there is something very obvious you like to keep track of, but you do not know how to do it. I'd love to make another video about it if I know how to tackle your problem. So please leave a suggestion, leave a comment. I'm very, very excited to hear about your thoughts. Well, if you liked this video very much, please subscribe to my channel. I might make more content like this. And well, thank you for watching.